Hey, all you Splinterheads, welcome back. Bronze Dragon here saying, hey, thanks for stopping by. As always, I appreciate the time you spend with me. Okay, in this one, we are going to do something we haven't done in quite a while. We're going to talk land, specifically the land in Splinterlands. And why are we talking about this? Well, version 1.75 went live this past week, bringing a multitude of changes to the game. So if you're not familiar with the land game, we're going to dive in and I'm going to provide some pointers from a beginner's perspective. Because if you're new to Splinterlands and you're grabbing some cards and you're playing different types of games and everything, and then you hear about land, you might wonder to yourself, what's all this land about? Well, I'm going to explain without going in depth too much, provide some tips. We're going to look at my land and we're going to look at what changes have occurred with the recent update and see where I stand and make some changes to my land. And hopefully, through the process, if you're brand new to the game, you'll get something out of it. And so if you want to dive in and grab some land while it's still relatively cheap, you can do it. So with that said, if this sounds interesting to you, please leave a like and on the video, and also subscribe to the channel if you want more Splinterlands news, and stick around. Okay, so we're over here on the Splinterlands main page. If you're checking out land for the first time, then what you do is go up under play and select land. This will bring you to the main land map, and from there you can see that you can go directly to the plots that are for sale or the plots that you own. And you can see that I own plots in 3 different regions, and that we can go ahead and look for what's for sale right now. So 2 other websites I want to throw at you that will be very handy here as well are peakmonsters.com, because well, I was looking at cards there, but they have a very handy land listing with lots of ways to sort by, depending upon exactly what type of land you're looking for. If you're brand new to the game, you're just going to go in here and you're going to pull up and it's just going to sort by what's cheapest. So as we can see, you can buy land for 13 bucks now. Now it's been a little bit cheaper than that in the past, but overall it's still pretty low compared to what it has been in the past. So it's I consider still a pretty good buy. Now, with that said, if you wanted to buy land, you could come over here on either Peak Monsters, or another website I like is monstermarket.io. If you buy land or cards on monstermarket.io, you get a certain percentage back in DEC refunded straight back to your account. It's like a card that gives you a percentage back. Either way, I buy a lot over here, but I alternate back and forth between the sites. I kind of like the user interface of Peak Monsters better. It's a little bit easier to use, but I like getting the DEC back from monstermarket.io. But so a common thing I do on a daily basis most days is check the regions where I have land and see if I can find any good deals on a piece of land. Okay. Now, as mentioned, you could go in if you're just coming into the game and you're strictly looking for good deals. Go on Peak Monsters and search for and just sort by cheapest right here. And if you're interested in commons or if you're interested in rares, you can select rares. I see the cheapest rare currently is $23. And you can get some deals that way. Or if you're like me and I already have properties in certain areas, I want to check to see if there's some deals, then I would select one and then go over to the list view here, and then I can sort by cheapest, and I can see that the cheapest is a rare forest at $65. I know over history the land in this area has really retained its value and actually went up. So that's a good thing, and I continue to watch because every once in a while something will pop up or a piece of land will pop up. Most of these pieces of land, I have 4 pieces of land, plots of land in this region, and They were all deals, okay? And I got them slowly over time just by looking and picking them off and buying them. And when you buy them, you can either buy them with credits through PayPal, or you can fund them with DEC into your account. However, we're not going to dig in on that, but I just wanted to point out what screens you would go to check. And also, once you figured out, say for instance we went for sale, say for instance we wanted this forest, this rare forest for $65, then I would come over here to monstermarket.io or Peak Monsters, whichever you want to use, and I would sort by rare, I would sort by forest, and then I would look for the 65, let's sort by price, and then come down to the $65 range. You can see that $65 is pretty pricey for a rare forest because there's a lot cheaper. But if for some reason, like me, I wanted to stay in that one region to reduce fees, trading grain back and forth, then I could come down here and I can see, oh, here it is. This is it right here. It does include building in a box. It does include unstable totem, and it produces wood. Now, we're not going to talk about that right now, but it's all in the white paper if you want to read about it. And if you are going to get into the land game, I would say read through the land white papers. And then you would just select, add that to my cart, and come up to your cart, and then check out. Of course, for some reason I'm logged out here, but you would just check out that way. You could also do the same thing on Peak Monsters. But that's the way I would select a land and then go and buy it. Okay, so I'm not going to step through the full process. I've done this on video before, but there's a few things I want to do on my land because of the changes that went live this week. First of all, and I think one of the main things is the fact that before the changes, you could only grow grain, harvest SPS, and do research. Now you have other resources. We now have wood, stone, and iron. So one of the things I'll point out when we jump into here is that each plot of land, depending upon what type of plot it is, you'll be able to harvest or grow something or mine something off of it. Okay. Now, previously, a lot of people had been growing grain on different plots that now necessarily can't grow grain, like a forest. Logically speaking, you get wood from a forest. Okay, so one of the big changeovers was that grain farms that were on forests or whatever other mountains or whatever else you had that can't grow grain now are getting switched over to what they can actually grow. Okay, so what we're going to take a look at here is one of the first things I want to point out is now this land I do not have fully staked out, meaning that I don't have the maximum amount of creature cards on it. So if you go into manage, you will see I only have one rare, no, sorry, it's an epic gold foil. Now what I want to do is during this process, I want to go ahead and add another one to it, which will increase my grain per hour being grown on this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to monstermarket.io. We're going to go to market. We are going to go to life, gold foil, epic. And we are going to go to Chaos Legion. And that is, I guess, considered a promo. Nope. Reward. Okay, yeah, reward card. Okay, so Jin Renova here, I can see that I can get 1 BCX for $6.99. So we're going to add that. And first of all, I'm going to log in to purchase. Okay, my total, I'm just double checking my total, is 6,990 credits, which I don't have currently. Okay, I had to jump over and put some credits into my account, so now we can go ahead and purchase that card. Then we will jump back over to Splinterlands. Give it a minute to be received. Now, on this page, I want to go ahead and point out a few things. Okay, so you get a lot of information from this page. You can look at the top, and first of all, it will tell you your plot number. It will tell you what type of land it is, and it will tell you the rarity as well as basically what's produced. Okay. Now, what we'll do here is scroll down a little bit. You'll see I already have a Gen Renova on this. Now, one of the changes, let's go back here. Back up one more time. Now, one of the changes I had is that on one of these pieces of land before the big 1.75 went live is I had 3 plots of land growing grain, and then I had 1 plot harvesting SPS. Well, I went through and I turned off, I changed over all my lands that were growing SPS, mining SPS, or doing research. Due to the upfront costs that those were going to cost during this first, several week period as the new materials get up and running, I felt that the price was going to be too high to be worth continuing with the research and the SPS mining. Now, does that mean that I'm totally out of the market for that? No. I mean, down the road, if we look at the prices, I think I made a good choice because here recently in the last few days, grain has went up in price nicely, okay? 2 to 3 times the price, okay? So either way, I wanted to point out that I had switched over my SPS and my research to growing grain. Or in some instances, we'll look at my other properties. They'll be harvesting wood or ore or iron. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to go into this property, and we're going to have to do a harvest first. Before you make any changes on your plot of land, you want to go ahead and harvest, okay? Because you don't want to do it the other way around, otherwise you're going to lose materials. So let's go into production, and we look at number 1 Veritas, and you can see all the information on the land. So we're going to see that I'm going to go ahead and click Harvest All, and you can see that now, whereas there just used to be 3 sections, now there are 6. So we've got grain, we've got research, SPS, wood, stone, and iron. And of course, everything in this area for me is producing grain. So let's go ahead and do a claim. And another big change you'll notice is that now, unless you're doing research, one grain farm magically turned into another type of work site as that land now produces a different resource. So that's good. Let's check out what happened. What I was going to say is that and that is due to the 1.75 patch. Okay, so the message came out that, so for instance, say for instance you had grain growing in a forest, then that would automatically change over to a lumber camp or whatever. So, but that didn't happen right after the patch. That happens at your first claim. So if you haven't done it, I was a little bit confused about it. Shout out to Maury No Giant over on Discord for setting me straight on that. But my point is that you used to get a very small chance of getting a totem fragment when you harvested any plot of land. Well, now it has to be a research plot or it has to be a castle or a keep. Otherwise, you don't have a chance at getting any of the fragments. So let's take a look at what happened. So I can see here that this forest changed over from grain to wood. So let's check that out. And it is fully, you must wait before you can, okay, yeah. So let's just look at manage. So this is actually the one that we are going to add a card to. So currently it's at 3.63 wood per hour. So let's go ahead and check out how to add a worker. So let's go ahead and click on this. It takes us into the modify screen, and what we're looking for is our other Gen Renova that I just bought to put on this land. So we can scroll down here and you can see these are all the cards that you have available that you possibly could add to this land. However, you're not all the time always going to want to do that, because check this out. Look at the adjustment column. Okay, some splinters of cards will give you a bonus on the land. Some splinters of cards will be a detriment. Okay, so this is a forest, and if I added this skeleton assassin, which I wouldn't because it's a great play card, I would get minus 50%. What we don't want. Obviously, you do have some that come in at 0%, but what we want is that 10% bonus. So let's scroll down, and once again, we are looking for her. Let's scroll down. Okay, so here we go. Renova, and it tells me how many production points I'm going to get. Tells me that I'm going to get that 10% bonus. Okay. Nope, that is the wrong. I have multiple cards, so I'm looking for the other Gen Renova. Sometimes it takes a little bit of scrolling if you have quite a lot of cards. Meanwhile. Okay, so here we are at my Gen Renovas. This is the only gold foil, and it's showing that it's... Okay, here we go. I got the right one this time. Okay, so here we go. And I added that card, and we're just going to go ahead and save changes. And it gives me the warning, staking cards without sufficient dark energy staked will lower the efficiency of the production across the region. So let's go back and do something I forgot to. I need to stake 1,000 more dark energy. So that requires 1,000 DEC. So let's go ahead and stake it. Okay, now we can go back and add the card again. Okay, now we're good. Save changes, confirm slots, confirm, and see it's boosting it from 3.6 to 7.2 per hour. I don't need to do this because I've got enough grain, and we already did a harvest right before this. Okay, so that gave you an example of, so far I've given you an example of how to buy a plot of land, how to buy a card and add it to it. Okay, now we're going to my next region, which is 114 Tostrington. I have a few plots of land here, and I'm not going to add any cards to these. I'm going to harvest. But what's going to happen is you are going to see that some of these are going to change over. Right now they're all at grain because I have not harvested since the patch went live. But what's going to happen is, let's see, this one will remain grain. This one will remain grain. This will switch over, and this will switch over. So let's go ahead and do a harvest all. And once again, there was a few that I had. I had one doing research, and I had one doing mining SPS. And once again, I did a changeover. You can change buildings from building to building. If you already have one built, you can wait the time that it takes your cards, how much ever production points you have to build out that building. In my case, it only took a day. Or you could pay the 50 time crystals, which was about $2.50 to go ahead and rush it and complete it. I just waited the day and let them switch over. So we're doing a 2-day claim here, and let's see how much grain I got out of it. 44,500. So we can see, just as I called it, 2 grain farms magically turned into other worksite types. So let's go ahead and go back. And we can see now that this one is producing iron and this one is producing wood. Okay. So I'm going to have to see how this starts working out when I harvest, because I'm kind of wanting to keep enough grain going for all of these. And then any excess grain, my plan is to put it into the liquidity pool and try to earn a little bit of money that way, or maybe just sell the grain. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so next up, let's check out my third region. In this region, I have the majority of my plots. You can see that what happens is, remember how I said that I changed buildings over? Well, in this region, I changed buildings over yesterday, and I haven't completed them yet. They're ready to complete. So like this work site is ready to complete. Let's go into it and manage. And then I just have to feed the workers 500 grain, and they'll be up and working. Okay. And let's go back. And this particular one was doing, you know what? It was doing research because it's on a magic mountain. But now it's harvesting, or it's harvesting iron. Okay, let's do the same thing to this. We have to go in and feed the workers. Most of these properties, if you've been following my series of videos, I know it's been quite a while since we talked land, but most of my properties are staked out with max level common gold foils. However, there are some which you just saw me do in number 1 where I've switched a little bit and started to do single BCX gold foil epics with the intention to, once I get several of them, to combine them into one. I don't know, this was originally Gathering the Magic's idea. I don't know how well this is going to turn out because it's been working out okay, because up front you save the DEC that you needed to stake. Like I had to add that 1,000, but if I had max level cards, it would be, if I had 5 max level cards in that region staked, it would be 50,000. So it saves DEC up front, but these cards are going up in price fast. So I don't know in the end run how much money this is going to save. Either way, I just figured I'd mention that. So let's go ahead, and these are the other ones that are ready to complete. And once again, in this region, I had a good assortment of grain producing as well as research. I had 1 research and I had 3 SPS. But now, guess what? I switched them all over. We still need to do my harvest in this region. Okay. But we'll go back and we can see now that everything is live now. Okay. So let's just go ahead and do a harvest all. And once again, all I had going at this point was grain. Got an itchy nose for some reason. Okay, and once again, I had 2 transform over to other types of work sites. So let's go ahead and see what happened. Okay, so now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 grain producing plots. I have 1 or 2 wood producing plots and 2 iron producing plots in this region. So that's the way it's looking. And yeah, I've just come away from the research and the SPS mining, basically due to the cost of SPS and what it was going to cost to keep mining SPS, because both the research, if you didn't see, you should check out the Peak D article on it. When you go to harvest SPS or research now, you're going to have to pay not only grain, but you're also going to have to pay a certain amount of wood, stone, and iron. And right up front, there's not a whole lot of that in circulation, so it's going to be pretty pricey. So that's why I made that switch. Okay, one other thing I forgot to mention is when you're staking out your plots of land in your different areas, what I want to pay attention to, not that everybody has to, because one of the beauties of this change going live is the fact that you have a lot of choices. In other words, if you wanted to, you could just harvest wood or harvest iron in an area, in a region, and then trade that over for the food you need, the grain you need, whatever. You could do that. I kind of look at it a little bit differently. I would like to be able to grow enough grain in each area to feed all my workers, and then the wood, iron, and whatever else I got, stone, that came extra would be lanyap or extra, you know. So we're one thing you want to look at. What I wanted to point out here is when you go into your region here, you look at your productivity number. Okay, that's how much you're producing. Okay, so in this region, I'm producing a little bit over 39,000 grain, and over here about 1,500 wood. Okay, I hope this helped. This has been Bronze Dragon with a Land 1.75 update, a little bit of an intro for new people to Land. If you are into the land game in Splinterlands, let me know in the show comments what changes you made for 1.75. And if you're new to the land game and you have some questions, stick them down in the comment section. We'll discuss them. Also, if you didn't know, I do have a weekly Splinterlands related live stream. We call the Saturday morning stand up. It's here on YouTube. It's Saturday at 11:30 Eastern time. Okay, goes for an hour. We talk mostly Splinterlands, some other Web3 games, but mostly Splinterlands, and it's just went over 100 episodes, so I've been doing it for more than 2 years. Lots of people stop by, and if I can't answer your question, then there'll probably be somebody there that can. Otherwise, this has been Bronze Dragon. I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, I'll see you in the land within Splinterlands. Okay, I hope this helped. This has been Bronze Dragon with a Land 1.75 update, a little bit of an intro for new people to Land. If you are into the land game in Splinterlands, let me know in the show comments what changes you made for 1.75. And if you're new to the land game and you have some questions, stick them down in the comment section. We'll discuss them. Also, if you didn't know, I do have a weekly Splinterlands related live stream. We call the Saturday morning stand up. It's here on YouTube. It's Saturday at 11:30 Eastern time. Okay, goes for an hour. We talk mostly Splinterlands, some other Web3 games, but mostly Splinterlands, and it's just went over 100 episodes, so I've been doing it for more than 2 years. Lots of people stop by, and if I can't answer your question, then there'll probably be somebody there that can. Otherwise, this has been Bronze Dragon. I hope everyone on your side is happy and healthy. And hey, I'll see you in the land within Splinterlands.